Okay, I hope this camera works. I haven't used it in years, maybe 2 years, a year and a half. I'm not sure. Anyway, so this is well, my username is Stereo Police, and I'm back with another video. It's been quite some time. Don't even know how long. By the way, we're looking at a box here I just received from FedEx. Another eBay audio equipment purchase. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Want to get started on another project. It's been quite a while since I've done anything. Since since the last video, sorry about moving the camera around here. I have moved. A lot of things have happened. I haven't had time to make any videos, whether they're my drumming videos, which, you know, I'm not that good of a drummer, but I have fun doing it, and my electronics videos. And since, well, pan around the new shop here, since my last video, I've moved houses, and that's a real pain in the ass when you have a lot of crap. And so I'm in the basement of my new house, and have a new workshop here, and just sort of pan around, toolbox and what. I really haven't put things away in places that I really want everything. Just haven't had time to do it. But here's my bench back here with some equipment on there. I'm not even sure I've found all my stuff in my moving boxes. And then there's a line of junk that goes down that way. Just walk around a little bit here. I'll tell you about the new project in a minute. So I'm still putting things away, and those are the speakers I use for the drums, and there's just stuff all over the place. But recently I purchased a pair of, I hope the audio is working on this. Let me double check. I purchased a pair of these Bose 901s that I now have hanging up there. And let me turn some lights on here. And I'll tell you about those in a minute. They were going to be a project, but they turned out to be so damn good as they are, I just decided to use them without doing anything to them. And I wanted to purchase a stereo system that was really contemporary with these speakers, something that someone would have used to power these speakers back in the early 80s. I thought that would be pretty cool, and that'd make a kind of a fun project. Let me hit pause here for a second while I make sure that this thing is actually recording audio. Okay, yeah, I had to test the audio to make sure that it was actually recording. I certainly don't want to make a lengthy video and then realize I'm not recording audio. I'll tell you more about these in a minute, but like I just mentioned, I want to power them with a neat little stereo system with, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But right now I have these Bose powered by, it's driven by a Sonos system for my music, and there's the Bose equalizer right there on the edge, and it's driven by a, what is that thing? Harman Kardon amplifier, something from the 80s. Nice amplifier, by the way. And we just passed through a room that my nephew is living in, so ignore that. And then here's all the boxes I still have yet to sort through: books, electronics, various, junk. Most of it is junk. And there's the poor drum set. That's maybe survived the move, and it's kind of sad sitting there, but I just haven't had time to put it together and play. It was just recently that I unpacked. This whole area was just filled with boxes. So drum set's going to come later, hopefully sooner than later. But anyway, wanted to power these Bose. By the way, the rear covers are off. Let me get a peek at them. I don't know how this is going to come through. I don't know if it's too dark here or not, but they're in really good shape. Very good shape. The previous owner, apparently they were sitting around for many years, and the owner's father had them. He sent them to Bose to have the cones reconditioned and redone, and have a factory reconditioning, I guess you call it, and then got them back and never used them. And I guess the son is selling them now. Maybe the father's passed away. I'm not sure. Got a pretty good deal on them, and they're in fantastic condition. And I'll tell you about the sound of those later. Or at least my impression of the sound. There's a lot of things written and said about Bose 901s. I've never owned a pair. In fact, I've never really even heard a pair until I purchased those. It's kind of a whimsical thing. And I'll give you a little clue. I'll tell you, I was shocked at how damn good they sound. The Bose are different from, audiophile grade speakers, but they really sound good. I mean, they're not a critical listening speaker. You don't want to sit there and pick apart everything. But if you just want to play something in the background or even crank them up, party speakers, I mean, they sound damn good. And it's such a unique sound that I'm kind of sucked into them. I really dig them. I mean, in their own way, to me they're some of the best speakers I've ever heard in their own way. And I'll get into more when I do a Bose review. But right now, what's in this box is a system, and I haven't opened it yet. Bought this off of eBay. I'm about to open it, and I'll pause and start the process. It is a Fisher Studio Standard amplifier with VU meters, cassette deck with VU meters, and a digital tuner. And they all kind of go together. They're all part of the same. I mean, they're separates, but they're meant to look alike, and they were part of a rack system. And I remember seeing these. They're probably from the. I know I'm talking too much. I need to open a box, but they're probably from the early '80s, maybe '81. I'm guessing, 1981 or so. But at the time, I was a kid, and I remember somebody called my name. Hold on a second. From upstairs. So I remember seeing these in the stores, and I really liked them. I was always a big fan of VU meters. I love VU meters. I don't care how functional they are or not. I just like them. And I remember seeing this, and I was enamored by the look of it and the whole thing. The sound, I don't know anything about the sound of it. It's consumer grade electronics. It's not great. It wasn't esoteric high-end gear or anything, but it was just really cool. So I thought, well, this would be good to mate up with the Bose 901s. It would be sort of in that same era, and it would be a system that conceivably someone would put together in the early 80s, so to speak. So I thought I'd buy them and recondition them, and supposedly, according to the ad on eBay, and by the way, the whole kit was $160 some with shipping, so I don't know what to expect, but there's the dog. He's upset because there's thunder outside right now, so whenever there's thunder, he runs around and he drools everywhere and hides and the whole thing. Where was I? So I don't expect the sound to be great, and I don't want it to be. I don't need it to be. It's more a nostalgia kind of a system, but I want to refurbish the amp, regardless if it works, with capacitors and whatever upgrades might be needed just to make sure that it lasts another 10 years or so, 5 years, whatever. And the tuner should be fine. It might need a few capacitors, electrolytics. It shouldn't need. It's a digital tuner. It really shouldn't need any alignment of any kind. The cassette deck might need some work. It might need belts, and it needs the azimuth adjusted as well as the motor speed. None of those things stay in alignment, and I'm hoping to do that if I can find my old test cassette, and we'll go through that process. So I thought it would be a fun project, but for this video right now, I just want to unpack the box, see what's in here, and maybe even fire them up and see if they work, and end it right there. So I'm going to go ahead and hit pause and start unpacking this thing, and turn the video camera on here and there through the process to see what's in the box. So there's all the box junk. Nothing else in there. And here they are, and I'm going to turn the flashlight on them in a minute. I haven't plugged them in yet. I just literally took them out of the box, and I'm pretty happy with the condition. The physical condition of them is pretty good. Okay, so no major scratches. I mean, if these things were wiped down, they would look, you know, almost new, really. No dings, you know, nothing. They're very nice. I like the look. Very typical of the early 80s. And there's those VU meters. I love VU meters. Beautiful. Hope they work. And so here's the integrated amplifier. Speaker selector, bass, treble, loudness, stereo, mono, balance, mixing level for the mic, selections for phono, tuner, auxiliary, tape monitor, and the volume. And let's go around back. And there are the heat sinks and speaker connectors and power sources for the cassette and tuner and inputs and a couple of fuses. Always nice when the fuses are easily accessible. However, they should never blow, really. And as far as the cassette deck, well, there's the VU meters again. Very nice. Have to take my glasses off. Okay, I don't know what happened. My camera. Oh, low battery. Oh, geez. Okay, I get it. Okay, my battery died on the camera. I don't know why that was. I thought it was fully charged, but this one's low too. So I'm going to try to get this video over quickly here. And my future videos will be on the restoration and the hookup and the sound and all that sort of thing. So there's the cassette deck, and it has servo buttons on it, and there's our tape selector for metal, CR02 and normal, very typical of the early 80s. Dolby on and off, and all the typical cassette deck buttons. And let's see if it ejects. And take a look at. Ooh, nasty. Ooh, there's some junk on that tape head. I don't know if, I hope it's focusing. Yuck. That's going to need some cleaning. That's nasty. I don't know how that's going to work. That tape head is mucky. I do have cassettes, and I enjoy playing them, so I hope to get that working. And then there's the tuner. So the first thing I want to do is, before my battery dies, is I'm going to hit pause and get the amp hooked up to some speakers, and I'm going to take the owner's word for it that these things work, rather than bringing them up on the Variac right there. I'm just going to plug them in and turn them on. It does have fuses in it, so, and take the seller's word that they power up and they work. I don't mind doing that. Where's my fire extinguisher? Anyway, I don't know where my fire extinguisher is, but better find that first. So I'm going to hit pause and get the amplifier hooked up to some speakers and a source of music, and just to see if the VU meters work and everything lights up and that we get sound out of it. Okay, back again. Well, while I was waiting for my batteries to charge for this old original HD camcorder, it's pretty damn old, I went ahead and got the amplifier hooked up. Got the speakers hooked up to my test speakers, which are these old Panasonic thrusters. They both work just fine. For a source of music, coming out of Sonos, variable volume control out into the auxiliary input on the back. And I noticed a couple things before I even turned it on. The first thing I noticed was the the volume pot was loose. That's not a good sign. The knob fits tight on the shaft, but it's loose. And I also noticed that the back panel where the heat sinks are has been bent in. Probably kind of see it there. Looks like maybe something landed on the heat sinks and pushed the top part of this panel in. There's a little divot right here. Let me shine a light on it. You can kind of see it right there, like a little wiggly thing where the top part of the panel was bent in. The reason why I opened it up is because, lo and behold, one channel doesn't seem to work. And I'll go ahead and, well, Sonos is playing, so we'll go ahead and turn it on. And you'll notice I'll be quiet, and you'll hear the there's the relay right there. I'm not going to put my hands in there because we're live right now. And you'll hear the relay turn on, and I have the volume down right now, all the way down. Okay, listen for the click. Okay, so the relay kicked in. The lights on the front panel are glowing. I have auxiliary selected. Bass and treble are centered. I have speaker A, and we put the balance in the middle, and we'll turn it up. Okay, so what you're hearing is music coming out of the right channel. I've hooked them up backwards. Okay, so, but if I turn the balance all the way the other way, okay, so sound came out of the right speaker, nothing is coming out of the left. If I wiggle, I kind of hear clicks. Seems to be coming out of the dead channel. So that might be a clue as to what's going on. Maybe there's an issue with the volume potentiometer. Look at that cheap piece of crap right there, that pot. Maybe there's an issue there. I don't know. I've not done any other diagnostics on it. But again, all the lamps are glowing. The VU meter, by the way, works, or at least on the side that sound comes out. So the VU meter works over there. And just a quick peek around, and again, I'm not going to touch anything because it's live right now. Everything is clean in here. It doesn't look like the bent back panel would have affected really anything. It's not bent in a place that's really critical. So you see the left and right channels right here. They have a Darlington power pack, which is an early version. It's not a complete integrated circuit. It is an integrated circuit, and it has just the either 6 or 8 final output transistors built into one circuit in a traditional configuration. So they look to be in good condition. I don't smell anything burnt. I don't see anything that's been burnt. Everything looks good. So I'm hoping the problem is simple. Again, I paid for this thing based on a description that said everything was working fine. In fact, in the picture on eBay, it showed the power on, and it showed both VU meters working. Somewhere up in the middle, like it was producing power out of both channels. So that's interesting. The first thing I want to do as a diagnostic, and I'll end the video after having done this first diagnostic, because I'm about to go on vacation for a week, and then when I come back, I'll make another series of videos on fixing this amplifier. By the way, while I was waiting for my battery to charge for the camcorder, I did find and download a service manual. I have not looked at it yet. Just finished printing it out. So that should be helpful. I was able to find that without paying for it. So that's good. So I'm going to turn the power off. And again, just before I do the first diagnostic, which is real simple, you can see there's the mains transformer there. There's an internal fuse right there for the You can see the large wires going to it. That's a fuse for the 120 volts. And you can see that we have a power supply board right here with the large capacitors. You can see the relay. I'm not going to touch anything, but you can see the relay. You can see that big square thing with the red dot on it. It's going to be the rectifier. And that's a regulator right there with that U-shaped heatsink. So that's the power supply board. We already looked at the output boards, left and right channels right there. And the rest of this stuff up front, there's a circuit board that's kind of upside down right there. That's going to be all the other stuff. That's going to be the switching, that's going to be the volume, all the other pots, tone control circuitry, and probably some preamplification down there. And that's going to be hard to get to if I need to get to that. Looks like there's a lot of stuff that has to come out. Hopefully won't have to reach that point. Those are the lights for the bulbs. The bulbs for the VU meters and the bulbs for the other indicators, input selections. So it's a pretty straightforward layout, for the most part easy to work with. And again, I see nothing, no visual indicators of any major problems. So the first thing I want to do is, well, the first thing I should do is unplug this thing. And put the camera down for a second. I'm going to turn it around, being very careful, because those capacitors are still charged, and I have not discharged them yet. And we want to look on the back panel, and there's what I believe to be these fuses. What I believe, yes, they're left and right. These are speaker protection fuses, and I want to see if one of them has not blown. That would be numero uno. And it looks like it's a small Phillips screwdriver, so I'm going to put the camera down, hit pause, and undo that, and we'll do a quick check for continuity on those fuses. And boy, that would be really cool if that was the issue. So hit pause here. Okay, well, I finally excuse me, I finally found my tripod, so that's kind of cool. Again, all this stuff is all over the place from the move. And I guess I'm having a battery issue. Every time I charge them, they only last about 5 minutes and then they die. I guess the batteries are getting old, so I went ahead and I found the power cord for the camcorder, and have that hooked up, so hopefully this will last. Anyway, so I pulled the fuses out. That's where they came from, and the left and the right fuse. And so just to do a quick test of those, I don't know if this will be very eventful, but I've got my DVM here, and I'll put it on ohms, and I'll select the little speaker icon for continuity, and hopefully both of these things beep if the fuse completes the circuit. No problem for the left fuse, no problem for the right fuse. So the speaker protection fuses are fine. Which again begs the question, well, why is one channel out? So I'm going to go ahead and put the fuses back in, and put the little cover on them, and be right back. So what to do? Well, I don't have my scope hooked up yet, or my signal generator. I'm going to have to do that at some point. But even without that, there are still some things to do. And I've already changed inputs, rear inputs, to several different ones from, I went to tuner and auxiliary. Can't use phono because that's a whole different, that has a phono preamplifier. Well, I could, but I don't want to burn anything out. So the tuner and the auxiliary inputs do the identical thing. So it's it's going to be, the problem's going to come somewhere after the input selector, and I still want to focus. I still want to focus on this pot, this potentiometer. Let me see if I can. Hang on a second, I gotta try to find something here. Got a little signal tracer here. Might try to fire this up and use it. It's a simple way of finding out where a circuit dies. And I was looking for my capacitor discharge probe, which I can't seem to find. Darn it. Hang on a sec.